Namaste. Gita Dhyanam. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Batva Manusandadami Bhagavad Gite Bhavatveshinim. Oh, Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Partha. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O goddess, showerer of nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism through your 18 chapters. O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. And now, Krishnavandana. Vasudeva sutam devam kansa chanuramardhanam devakim paramanandam krishnam vande jagadgurum. O son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki, O Lord Krishna, supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. And now Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna about the state of attaining Brahma-jnana. What happens when a person who attains the Brahma-jnana, like in the previous Shloka he has mentioned, Ya Nisham Sarva Nisha Sarva Bhutanam Tasyam Jagrati Sanyami Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani Sa Nisha Pasyato Munihi. That which is night for all beings. That is the time when the person who has controlled his senses, he is always awake. He is not sleeping that time like ordinary beings. His mind is elevated to such a higher plane. He is merged. He has got into that state of samadhi. He is in fact awake. Jagrati Sanyami. That man with the sanyam, with the controlled senses, he is very much awake. Because he is one with his one self, his own self. The self is one with the self. And yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pasyato munihi. And that wise man, that learned man, that sage, that seer, that fellow, for him it is the night when everybody else is so active in the worldly activities. That is the time when everybody else, all other beings, they are so much engrossed in enjoying the worldly life. That seer, that knower of Brahman, that Brahmajnani, for him, that time is the night time. There is no activity. Just enjoying the bliss. So that is the state that munihi, the Brahmajnani, gets. And now Sri Krishna is telling further about this, the state of getting the Brahmajnana, getting the steady wisdom, getting the self-knowledge, gaining the self-mastery. āpūryamāṇam achala-pratiṣhṭhaṁ samudram āpaḥ praviśhanti yadvat tadvat kāma praviśhanti sarve śhāntim āpnoti kāma-kāmī. Now Sri Krishna is telling about that state of a person that when all the people are inactive, this fellow is extremely active in his communion with the divine. When everybody else is sleeping, when everybody else is so-called inactive, this person is engrossed in his activity of communion with the divine, being one with the divine. And when for all it is the time to wake up, hustle bustle, very highly active, this fellow, he is least active. He is totally inactive, merged in the self, enjoying that absolute bliss. Now that person, how that state reflects. Now Sri Krishna is comparing attaining that state to a vast ocean, and that's what Sri Krishna says. āpūryamāṇam. āpūryamāṇam is filled from all the sides, like the ocean, the sea. Waters are just entering that sea from all the sides. Waters from all the rivers, they are just getting merged into that sea. āpūryamāṇam, filled from all the sides. achala-pratiṣhṭhaṁ, even then, that sea, that ocean is achala, immovable. That is the ocean is so much still, quiet, calm. Although water is being filled from all the sides. Samudram, āpūryamāṇam, achala-pratiṣhṭhaṁ, samudram, āpaḥ, praviśhanti, yadvat. Yadvat is even as, like. āpaḥ is water. Praviśhanti is enter. It is like water is entering, water of the rivers entering the sea, and still the sea is always still, calm. Is the kind of activity that rivers have, sea doesn't have. There might be a lot of great amount of calmness that is reflected in that still and soothing ocean, in that soothing waters of the ocean. Unlike rivers, they keep on making a lot of noise, isn't it? And especially when the water is entering the sea, it is at its best of the activity. Have you ever seen the water, river water entering in sea? It is so much of buoyancy in that, so much of noise, so much of activity. But just let the water become part of that sea. It is all still, it is all calm, it is all peace. So, āpūryamāṇam, achala-pratiṣhṭhaṁ, samudra, āpaḥ, praviśhanti, yadvat. Like the waters entering the ocean. And what is that ocean? Ocean is āpūryamāṇam, filled from all sides, all the time. And still, achala-pratiṣhṭhaṁ, it is enjoying that stillness, that bliss. Yadvat, kāma yam praviśhanti sarve. Yadvat means in the same manner, like the waters, turbulent waters entering the sea, and then calming down. Tadvat, in the same way. Kāmaha yam praviśhanti, in whom, yam is in whom, praviśhanti, enter. What? Not the river waters, but in the person in whom enter kāmaha, sarve, all the desires. Sarve is all desires. The one in whom all the desires enter and get merged. Saha śhāntim āpnoti, he attains the ultimate peace. He attains the absolute peace. Na kāma-kāmī, not the desirer of desires. For desirer of desires, there is no peace at all. Because enjoying the desires is an unending desire for him. It happens in our lives that once we fulfill one desire, our mind is never empty of desires. You fulfill one desire, immediately next desire takes birth. Immediately. Not even a moment goes that we live without desire. And Sri Krishna says, it is in that person in whom all the desires have merged, all the desires have ceased to exist as a separate entity, like the water of the rivers. The water of till that water is there in those rivers, it is turbulent, it is buoyant, it is making noise, it is jumping up and down, it is making that froth and foam and everything. But the moment that river merges in the ocean, that's it. There is nothing but peace. That same turbulent water, that same hyperactive water in the river, how calm it becomes when it merges in the sea. Then there are only those silent waves, the beautiful waves. And of course, I mean, unless that sea, there is some storm in the sea. But otherwise, yes, the sea is so peaceful. We can't even imagine there are, volcanoes hidden in that sea. We can't even imagine looking that peace on the surface. It is so beautiful. But the river waters, oh, they make hell of a noise. They are so jumping up and down, like that. Like that, Sri Krishna says, it is not the desirer of the desire who attains peace, but the one in whom all the desires have got merged. He is the person who ultimately enjoys the ultimate peace. And that is what Sri Krishna has been telling in this entire Sankhya Yoga. That is the only way of attaining peace. Get rid of the desires and you will attain peace. Because then your wisdom is steady. You have a steady wisdom. You know what is right, what is wrong. You know what is to go after. And then when you start going to go after the self, capital S, all desires cease to exist like those turbulent waters in the river, and they once get merged within the self. When it is like river waters, those same turbulent river waters getting merged in the ocean. It is not possible for anyone to add to or subtract the volume of ocean. Water is constantly coming in, but that doesn't mean ocean water's levels are going huge. Every day they are going up by 1 foot or 2 feet, or no, they remain same. Every day water is getting entered from all those rivers into the oceans. Though all the rivers of the world continue to empty themselves into it, its magnitude remains the same. There is neither increase in the size of ocean nor a decrease in the size of ocean from a human perspective. If the rivers ceased to flow in and evaporation went on as usual, even then the expanse of the ocean will remain the same. It happens when there is a drought, there is no water in the rivers. It doesn't mean that suddenly the ocean starts disappearing. No, that ocean is there. That ocean will be there. Rivers will be putting in water into the ocean. Rivers may not put water into the ocean, but the ocean remains in its own magnanimity, in its own richness, its own glory. The mind of Muni is like that ocean. The sensations brought in by the sense organs get themselves dissolved in the ocean of consciousness. Now, Krishna has said that we cannot, just get rid of the communion of senses with the sense objects. We cannot, just put a blank on that. We just can't switch off senses. You are not going to the sense objects. No, they will continue to do it. But in a person with the sthita prajna, who is sthita prajna, with the steady wisdom, those senses, even touching the sense objects, even going to the sense objects, they will not create any turbulence in the mind. They will not create any havoc in the mind of our downfall. No modifications of mind such as desires, aversions, longings, feelings and thoughts will take shape. That mind is so calm. That mind is so enriched with the self. That all these the false notions of the senses and the sense of false relationship between the senses and the sense object, they just cease to exist. because we have lost our the control of pairs of opposites on us. There is no, these pairs of opposites, loving, aversion, the joy, sorrow, pleasure, pain, they have no influence on our self. Then we are one with ourselves. So they have got no influence on our personality as such. The question of mind getting muddled does not arise there. That mind can never get muddled. That mind can never get puzzled. Not a speck of meditation may be noticed in that infinitude. He who is in this blessed state is a Jivan Mukta, is a Brahmajnani, a free soul. The very presence of an emancipated soul is a boon to the society. There are people like this, and they keep on guiding us. They keep on guiding us who have got away from the path of the spirituality. They keep on guiding us. This is the path. Walk on this. And among all those guides, among all those teachers, here in this Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna, the Jagat Guru, the supreme teacher of the universe, he is showing us the way. In his presence, the minds of aspirants automatically become pacified as we keep on reading Bhagavad Gita, as we keep on reading Sri Krishna's words, as we keep on listening and reading, listening to and reading the words of the great sages, the great saints, the great incarnations, an amount of peace automatically sets into our minds, in our hearts. So that is what happens. These teachers, these great souls, they show us the way. Like Sri Krishna has shown us this way in the Sankhya Yoga, which is soon coming to an end. So that is what Sri Krishna, through all these examples, in this example, he has equated the serene and mind at peace, in absolute peace of a yogi, of a brahmajnani, of a sthita-prajna, of a samadhista, with that of that still and calm and peaceful ocean, although the turbulent waters are entering it. Now, on this particular shlok, the teaching of Sri Ramakrishna, there are mountains, hills, dales, valleys and plains at the bottom of the ocean. Now, those who have gone to the depth of the ocean, they know what kind of, intricacies are hidden there inside, in the womb of the ocean. It is not just a plain, smooth, the ocean, the base of the ocean. It's not just plain and smooth. There are so many hills, there are so many mountains, there are so many valleys, so many innumerable things. Those are hidden in the womb of the ocean. But they are not discernible on the surface. When we look at the ocean from surface, when you go to Bombay or Kolkata, we see Bay of Bengal, we see Arabian Sea. When we go to Kanyakumari, we see all these Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea merging into the Indian Ocean. When we look at that water in the sea, that ocean, it is so calm. The beautiful, pleasant waves, like a melodious music. They are just, we get such peace, we get such a pleasure just watching those calm waves on the surface of that ocean. We don't ever imagine that there could be so much of reckless things hidden inside the ocean. The mountains, the valleys, plains also. But they are not discernible on the surface. Akin to it, the jnani in samadhi experiences infinite existence, knowledge, bliss. Same way as that ocean, like Sri Krishna has told. Sri Ramakrishna says, same way like the surface of the ocean, the mind of the jnani is always filled into infinite existence, knowledge, bliss. The Satchidananda is enjoying that absolute existence, absolute knowledge, the bliss absolute. The modifications such as I and mine get merged in that beatitude. And when you are one with yourself, when we are one with ourselves, the I and mind, they cease to exist. There is no duality. There is no plurality. It is only the real I. And at the physical level of I and mind, it just vanishes. The physical level I and mind comes when there is a duality. Then we say, oh, this is mine. But when we are one with the self, everything is one. Everything is advaita. There is no duality. There is no me and you. There is no I then. It is only Brahma. So that is the ultimate reality that the Brahmajnani enjoys. When all the desires, they are merged in his self, like those turbulent river waters merging in the ocean and becoming calm and at peace. So that is the wonderful teaching of Sri Krishna that we have read in this 70th shloka. And that is our reading for the day from the Sankhya Yoga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swami.